Alright, now, I don't want to be too weird because I think I'm like 6. But like, look at that smolder. Look at that Agent Smolder over here. Look at that. It's like fucking Clint Eastwood. That's a stare. And to remind people, that was my Uncle John's wedding. I was a ring bearer. And I caught the garter. So envision, I catch the garter. And I look over at the lady and I give her that look. That's... So, one of my favorite things, and again, it is the anniversary of the St. Valentine's Day Massacre, so we should acknowledge love. And I'm not talking about love here, or romantic relationships, or agape. I'm just talking about objects that I like, because I like objects. I like to talk about people. So, one of these objects is weddings. I love weddings. I've been to a lot. Every single one I cry. A few of them were because of close friends. I was a groomsman in one, and I'm wearing the latest suit ensemble I wore. Not the pants. I mean pants, but not the pants. I wear pants. I put on pants for this, okay? I take this stuff serious. Not like your fucking Zoom meetings, alright? I don't do that. But I put on pants, damn it. Not one leg at a time. I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? So I love weddings. I have a lot of interesting wedding stories, and I'm gonna maybe say some of them, but they're not gonna be at all about weird and heavy stuff, right? The things I love the most. Part 4. Wicked little clown. Alright, so I've mentioned before in passing I was best man for my best friend's wedding. A couple years back. I had, when I was a groomsman for my friend, and this wedding was, hey man, we were living on the edge, man. Like, that bachelor party was a bad scene. Like, I don't remember. Like, I don't remember. And what happened there, and that's where it stays. But the thing is, his wedding. Alright. And I could talk about this because there's a lot of people there, so whatever. So, the best man. Good guy. Maybe not the best guy, but a guy, And, he was the kind of dude that was, like, very, like, he wasn't like me. I was a humble best man. I gave people the spotlight in certain times, and maybe they even shouldn't have had it, because, I understand how to work a room and empower people, and how to make it seem like you don't really, maybe you're not doing that, But at the wedding, this dude is being, very arrogant, but he is a drunk. He's drunk, at least drunk. He might drink a lot, and everyone's kind of worried. He's like, nah, man, don't worry, man. My speech is gonna be great, man. I'm a genius. Like, he worked off, it was like fucking curing cancer or some shit. It was fucking jump it again. No one's great at everything. No one can do it. And even if you're good at something, you're not always gonna be good at it. If you think you are, then that's the recipe for failure. So he gives this terrible speech, and you could tell, like, he had a plan, but, like, he could tell the plan wasn't working, or he wasn't able to articulate it quite well, so he went off the script, and it was bad. It was, like, incriminatory, and it was great, because my buddy getting married was just like, oh no. It was like, it wasn't even like there wasn't no elephant in the room. It was just like, okay, we're acknowledging that this dude gave it, oh man, what a terrible, oh boy. That's the thing. Not saying he's a bad person, but this is a bad speech. So I got that shadow on my shoulder. I'm the fucking best man, and I made sure to have a more humble bachelor party. But I don't know if you've gotten to this. I like to speak. And I like to use words effectively. But I also understand to never go into a room with a script. Because when you go into that, whether it's City Hall, whether it is the state capitol, whether it is an interrogation room, whether it is fucking locked in the corner with an ex holding a fucking couple piss threatening to throw it in your face, you just, But, anywho, you wing it, you improv it, you do a script. I mean, you know that maybe general things you want to say or thematic crux, and like my philosophy with speeches is that, and sometimes this just goes out the window entirely, is that I know what I'm going to say at the end, or what I want to say at the end, and often it's never really that. I have a few guiding points, a few sort of jazz motifs in the back of my head. There's a constant fucking internal monologue, so it just comes out. Then you begin soft, though. That's the thing. A lot of people, they speak and they go, no. Just naturally, you begin soft because I'm nervous sometimes. So, but then you build. Then you just, don't like overread the room, but just be there in the room. Feel those things that aren't said, those wavelengths, and just follow it. And sometimes people aren't going to be receptive to it, and they're going to do backlash, especially if you're being honest and vulnerable. But you just like, you find out. That's why sometimes I fucking, especially when I'm saying some real dark shit to someone's face, as I've done before a few times. But this was different. This was I had to be. Again, there was a couple hundred people there almost, so I'm not going to tell you lines from the speech because it was in the moment, off the cuff, from the heart. But I will read the song from Hedwig and the Angry Inch that was sort of the linchpin of it. This is, again, the musical Hedwig and the Angry Inch is really fucking good. That's another one of my favorite things. Well, I saw the movie before I saw the musical, but I did see the musical in New York a few years back when it was Anthony Michael Hall. Dexter was in it. Did a great job as Hedwig. I saw it actually. That was before they got married, so I saw it with this couple at the wedding. And my ex-girlfriend, who the New Canaan one. So it was like, maybe I had like in the back of my mind it could take some romantic twist, but at that point she was already off to greener pastures, so it was just a friend kind of thing. But it was nice to see that musical with them as a group. So I knew, like, that was the thing, and it almost like, it wasn't like I knew it for weeks. I was like desperate to think, like, what's the speech gonna be? What's the speech gonna be? What's the theme? And I had a few ideas. I even jotted a couple things down, but it was all gonna be just like, I can't do this. It was gonna be dark, and it couldn't have been dark. It would have been like, nah. And they expected it. They were worried that it was gonna be. But I knew, based on what I'd seen from the Edda wedding, that I needed to just keep, cut loose when the dancing was happening and you sweat it out. But just I was still drunk then. I was right near the tail end of the one day at a time, and so I knew I had to not drink as much. I had a few, loosen the lips, and people were still like, well, you gotta go spit. And I was like, fuck, and it not just empowered me more and more to say fuck these people and they're fucking. I'm gonna do a great job. And I remembered Hedwig and the Angry Inch, which was like not only the musical we saw together, but me and my buddy, like, shit, I think we'd fucking had seen that even probably at tail end of middle school or beginning of high school when it first came out. It was the movie really spoke to us because it's ultimately a movie about identity and about being in a town where you're different and you're alienated. We can all relate to that, regardless of if It's not like it's just like, oh well, it's just about trans identity and post-opt gone awry. No, Hedwig and the Angry Inch is this weird like existential thing. And the song Origin of Love is based on Plato's Symposium, which I haven't really even read all of because I don't read. I'm major in philosophy, but I don't need to read any Greek philosophy. It's fucking echoed and everything. I read a couple mythologies here and there, but I don't really get read any of this stuff, barely. Scraps. You take a Greek philosophy class, it's fucking, give me some Dasein. Give me some fucking German Nazi shit. But before I fucking read this like Greek Nazi shit, But based on the Symposium, and I believe, I'm going to botch the name because I know I've made up, Aristophanes, I believe, is the one who comes up at this thing and goes like, alright, here's my version of love. Here's what it is. So this is what this song is based on. When the earth was still flat, and clouds made of fire, and mountains stretched up to the sky, sometimes higher, folks roamed the earth like big rolling kegs. They had 2 sets of arms, they had 2 sets of legs, they had 2 faces peering out of one giant head, so they could watch all around them as they talked while they read, and they never knew nothing of love It was before the origin of love, the origin of love. And there were 3 sexes, then one that looked like 2 men glued up back to back, called the children of the sun. And similar in shape and girth was the children of the earth. They looked like 2 girls rolled up in one. And the children of the moon was like a fork stuck on a spoon. They were part sun, part earth, part daughter, part son. The origin of love. Now the gods grew quite scared of our strength and defiance, and Thor said, I'm gonna kill them all with my hammer, like I killed the giants. But Zeus said, no, you better let me use my lightning like scissors, like I cut the legs off the whales, dinosaurs into lizards. Then he grabbed up some bolts, and he let out a laugh, said I split them right down the middle, gonna cut them right up in half. And the storm clouds gathered above into great balls of fire. And then fire shot down from the sky in bolts like shining blades of a knife. And it ripped right through the flesh of the children of the sun and the moon and the earth. And some Indian god sewed the wound up in a hole, pulled it around to our bellies to remind us the price we pay. And Cyrus and the gods of the Nile gathered up a big storm to blow a hurricane, to scatter us away in a flood of wind and rain, in a sea of tidal waves to wash us all away. And if we don't behave, they'll cut us down again. We'll be hopping around on one foot and looking through one eye. Last time I saw you, we just split in 2. You was looking at me, I was looking at you. You had a way so familiar, I could not recognize, 'cause you had blood in your face, and I had blood in my eyes. But I could swear by your expression that the pain down in your soul was the same as the one down in mine. That's the pain that cuts a straight line down through the heart. We call it love. We wrapped our arms around each other, trying to shove ourselves back together. We were making love, making love. It was a cold, dark evening, such a long time ago, when by the mighty hand of Jove. It was a sad story how we became lonely 2-legged creatures. The story, the origin of love. That's the origin of love. So, I mean, my speech wasn't as good as that song, clearly. But the point was, and I can't remember the exact words, it really touched people. Like, people were quoting it afterwards. People, I think, that, like, just had fallen in love with me because, like, I had just set myself up for it by just being so vulnerable and, like, giving them that puzzle piece that they needed to hear. That's what I said. And again, I don't necessarily mean this because, like, people is people and things fall apart and nothing is perfect. You know, you gotta work on it. But with these 2, with Nick and Dana, it was clear to me from knowing them from high school, even seeing, like, you know, they were imperfect people, but their imperfections matched. And that was the point I was trying to get across. And I was like, you know, we go through this life searching for this missing piece, you know, to complete us. And, you know, we usually never find it. Or we find it and it's just ships passing in the night. Or the other person just doesn't want it, and then that's their choice. And it's like when it happens, and when that union happens, and maybe it'll be a divorce, you know, maybe it's a tax dodge, but it's beautiful. That's why I love weddings. Just weddings, that's it, that I love. Next time.